Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode, our third episode of Shojo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm your host, Stella Luna.
And I am Laura. We have a change today.
Yeah, we have a
No,
change today. Us.
no more chibi icon.
No more chibi icon. Now this is a podcast with wonderful background and microphones and a laptop and uh you're moving around there a little bit.
Yes.
um
Just testing the camera.
the camera. I see. But anyways, oh man, we're having some technical difficulties.
Are we good now?
I think so. I think just your screen capture for you is like was moving around again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good though. I think if you don't touch anything, we're good. We're good. But yeah, hi everyone. Hello. Welcome to our third episode. Yeah, so we're going to talk about, our experiences as content creators and kind of how we got to where we are and everything in content creation, which, is wonderful, is great. We love that. We love content creation most of the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yes,
most
most of
most
the
of the time.
time.
Most of the time. Yeah. I'll go first.
Yeah.
So so it's funny because okay, so content creation to me is always like really funny because I think a lot of people think that like they want to start up their channels, their like whatever they want to do, right? Whether it's start streaming, maybe make their TikTok, maybe do YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people take for granted, not take for granted, but like a lot of people who are not content creators think content creation is easy.
Yes,
And
there's a really big misconception that it's just easy work.
yeah, no, and I will say as someone who's worked multiple jobs in her lifetime, I think content creation is probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever done. Um
Yeah, I can
be-
agree.
because here's the thing, right? Content creation isn't just making you make content, but it isn't just like posting a few little things here and you get like thousands of followers. It's a lot of like time planning, self-discipline. Even I struggle with that as someone with ADHD. It's sometimes really hard for me to like do anything because it's like, "Oh, I have to manage myself." Great, awesome. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have anyone there telling me what to do and telling me like how to do it and I have to figure that stuff out on my own. And I think a lot of people tend to not realize how hard content creation really is.
Yeah, definitely. It's not for someone well, there's a lot that we're gonna touch on, but it's definitely not for someone that is, that doesn't have a lot of self-motivation, that's for sure.
Yes. It is a hard life. And it's funny because we had decided on this episode um well like we decided on it because Laura had suggested it from a because of a tweet that I had made a couple weeks ago. And
Mhm.
so in the VTubing sphere, for those of you who are listening, maybe you don't watch the YouTube. Maybe you guys, I don't know. Maybe you guys don't know I'm a VTuber. I mean, clearly, if you're watching on YouTube, you see I'm a VTuber. But for those of you listening on Apple Podcasts or like Spotify, I'm a VTuber, right? And at the time when I had made this tweet, I basically the tweets had said, that you don't know how long someone's been VTubing or making content creation for, doing content creation. And being a VTuber, like a lot of VTubers get really like jealous or they get um really demotivated because they see someone who's very new in the sphere and they come into it and they start blowing up, right? Like they like it's their first year, maybe first year and a half, maybe first 2 years, and they blow up somewhere. Like they just blow up. They have a lot of followers, and a lot of VTubers look at them and go, "Man, why isn't that me?" Why isn't that
Mhm.
me? Like, why can't, like, why, what am I doing wrong? Right. But something that I think a lot of people tend to not realize is that even though that might be their first year of VTubing, it could be their 10th year of content creation, right? Because they've been doing content beforehand. I know I have. I did cosplay for years, and I did like a lot. I did a lot of stuff online. So I made a lot of connections before I even became a VTuber. And so, if you look at me, who has been doing things for a really long time and has made connections even but prior to being a VTuber, you would only see the VTuber side of it and go, "Oh my god, she like blew up overnight and like it's so easy for her and blah 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 blah." Right? And it's like it wasn't just in the last like year or 2 years that, I've been VTubing, that I've grown a lot. This has
Mhm.
been, years of experience that I put into VTubing, and now I'm like, now I know what to do, what not to do, and like what kind of content that I want to put out, or like I have a feel for things. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel really discouraged when they get into it and it's been like 2 years and they go, "Man, I haven't really grown a lot." I
Yeah, a lot of people get really impatient when it comes to social media because they feel like it's just, like, you get automatic, responses, and I don't know, I feel like, and we did name this as the title of today's episode, like, we're social media, a lot of people that you see online, they're not overnight success stories. Like,
no.
it takes a very long time to, you know, grow into your social media persona. I mean, you may have a lot of changes, like Stella just mentioned. Even I have gone through a lot of, you know, content changes as well. I used to be a beauty vlogger, so yeah, it's definitely a journey, not overnight.
No. And I think nowadays it's way more rare for someone to blow up overnight than it
Hmm.
used to be. Cause okay, this might be a hot take, right? This might be a huge hot take. I don't know. Don't cancel me for it. But I was talking with Mr. Underhill, and we were talking about content creation, and something that really bothers me that I see a lot of small content creators doing, say,
Hmm.
"Well, it's luck. It's luck. It's luck. It's like
Oh yeah,
95% luck." And I'm like, to me,
all the
when you,
time.
oh God, it bothers me so much, because when you talk about, you say it's mostly luck. You're doing two things. A, you are discrediting the people who've worked really hard and like have
Hmm.
actually, like, who have worked for their following. And B, you are making excuses for yourself and you're not going to get anywhere. Because if
Yes.
you go,
Yeah.
it's luck, it's luck, it's luck, you're not going to try as hard. You're not going to self-reflect on yourself and go, what can I do better? What can I do
Hmm.
next? What's working, what's not working? And I would say like luck is like maybe 10%. Maybe.
Yeah, it does play a role, but it's a very minor role, I would say.
Yeah, I would say like it was luck maybe back like in the beginning of YouTube when, our Markipliers and our PewDiePies and our, all of these people who blew up, Smosh even, Ian and
Hmm.
Anthony, right? Like that's luck because they were two teenagers in their room just messing around and to Mortal Kombat, right? Like it
Yeah.
was just a dumb little video that they made that blew up, and they were able to work with that and make a community and to grow, right? But
Hmm.
that was luck, right? Like I would say that's luck because
Yeah.
they were just two teenagers making a dumb video, right? They
Yeah,
weren't
agreed.
content creation wasn't a thing back then, right? It was
Oh, no.
just it was just like you made a dumb video, and if it blew up, like that would be crazy, right? But
Mhm.
eventually they took that and they were able to build a platform off of it and to be able to continue to grow instead of them just being a meme of the past, you know?
Yeah,
Um
definitely.
I mean, to be honest, like how many of us remember Boxy? Remember Boxy?
Mm?
Do you not
Don't
remember
remember.
Boxy? I am Boxy, you see.
I don't remember.
You remember Boxy? Okay, well Boxy was like She was boxy. But, like,
It was what?
she made a character and then she, like, disappeared off the internet for a while. I know
Oh.
she's, like, acting now and stuff like that. I think she's acting. But, like
Mhm,
but, like, um, there are people who blow up and then they disappear, or they just made that video and then they just never did anything again.
mhm.
But luck, it's really not luck. It's really, like, a lot of it is, yes, like, when something the algorithm blesses you. Yes, that's
Mm.
it might be a little bit of luck, right? You might hit the algorithm just right. But I do believe
Yeah,
that, like, if you hit the algorithm, like, you're gonna have several points in your content creation career where you can either push it farther, or you just, like, stay stagnant because you post
mhm,
something and something does really well, right? Now,
mhm.
how you utilize that is how you're gonna push yourself, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree.
Um, yeah, like, uh,
I'm reading the chat.
you're reading, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, it's definitely, like, for me, for example, when a lot of people just assume that I started just creating manga content, and that certainly wasn't the case, but one of the first videos that blew up was my review on the romance series Sweat and Soap. And I still remember the day that I blew up because I went from having maybe like, I don't know, 10 notifications on TikTok
mhm,
to waking up to the 99 plus notification. I was like, what? Like, this is new. Like, I had no idea what to do because I got so used to just, seeing single digits on TikTok. And I mean, back then I was mainly a YouTube creator. I really wasn't taking TikTok seriously. Um, but that video just landed on people's For You pages, and then it just kept growing and growing and getting thousands of views like every single day. But I could have done one of two things. I could have just, said that was luck and not really, done anything with it.
mhm,
But I noticed that people kept asking in the comments that they wanted more manga recommendations featuring like adult protagonists. Like I was getting a lot of feedback in the comment section of that video.
mhm.
So um then I just started working, what else can I discover in the manga shelves that other people will have a positive response for? So I started creating more review videos, just haul videos, just me discovering manga along with other people that were stuck. This happened all during lockdown. So we were all in the same boat, wanting different stories to explore. And it took a lot of hard work. It was fun. But I had to take that little luck that I got from the TikTok algorithm and just, you know, work very hard in creating
Mhm.
consistent uploads. And although I will say TikTok is a lot easier than YouTube, it's a lot
Yes.
less time consuming than YouTube. I can make a few TikTok videos in the span that it takes me to edit like one YouTube video.
I
One YouTube one YouTube video can take me hours. It's a pain.
Well, like, here's the thing too, right? Is that it's
Mhm,
funny that you mentioned that TikTok is easier than YouTube because I agree.
mhm,
I agree. I definitely think that TikTok is pretty easy. It's a pretty easy platform. Like, if you want to get
mhm.
into content creation, I think TikTok's a great platform to start on, to just, like, experiment
Yes.
and to try things out.
Mhm,
It was funny because I saw this conversation amongst cosplayers, and I actually disagreed with a cosplayer on TikTok about this because they made a video on it, and they were talking
mhm,
about how, like, a lot of cosplayers on Facebook, sorry, I'm like, I we're saying how it is much easier to grow on TikTok, and they were like, no, like, it is not. It's still difficult, blah blah blah. And I was like, no,
mhm,
I think TikTok is an extremely, like, it is extremely easy because this is what happens, right? Is that
mhm.
you are forced onto people's For You pages, right?
Yes.
Whereas,
Mhm,
like, growing on other platforms is much more difficult because someone's gonna have to go out of their way to like first of all, the algorithm has to show that content to someone. So like on YouTube, right? Like you'll see thumbnails of videos like all the time, right?
Mhm.
And whether or
Yep.
not you click on it, like it's your decision whether you're going to give a view to that video or not, right?
Mhm.
If you just see
Yeah.
the thumbnail and you scroll past it, they don't get a view. There's no view on it. Whereas on
Mhm.
TikTok, you just scroll and then you come across a video and you're like, "Oh, I'm watching it." And like no matter what, you're going to even if when you're like you're doom scrolling and you're just like swipe, 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 swipe.
Yes.
Like they are all getting views, every single one of them, right? And then
Mhm.
like people follow. And the thing is that at least this is what I notice. A lot of people just mass follow.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people just mass follow.
Definitely.
There'll be people who follow me who follow like 10,000 people. And
Mhm.
I'm like, that's a lot. And TikTok, like I feel like TikTok following is I don't want to be like it's less important, but it is how do I explain this? How do I
I
explain
feel
this?
like
Mhm.
I feel like TikTok following is less curated because,
Yes.
like, with YouTube, you definitely take the time to curate what you wanna see
Mhm.
on your homepage. Um, Anything goes for TikTok, really. So
Well, when it comes to following, it almost feels like half the time it like doesn't really I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but like w- hear me out. Hear me out.
Mhm.
Your followers don't get your videos all the time. Like they
Yeah.
have to show like TikTok shows your followers videos, right? And like
Mhm.
sometimes they don't get your videos. I've gotten comments from people being like, "I haven't seen you on my For You page in months."
Yeah,
Right?
I get
And
those too.
I
Yep.
get those all the time and I'm like, "I've been here. I've been making content. I've been posting, but TikTok has not been showing my content to my followers." I have
Mhm.
300,000 followers on TikTok, yet like only a very small sliver actually get my TikToks. You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? Like it's not that the people don't matter, but it's the fact that to TikTok they don't matter because they're not like you
Yeah.
follow someone to get their videos, and if you're not getting their videos, I think that's a huge problem on TikTok. And yes,
Mhm.
I know we have the following page and who really uses the following though? Let's be
I don't
real.
use it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was about to say
I
let's
never use it.
let's be real. Let's be real. Like we'll go go through the For You page, never the following. Sometimes I do, but not only when my For You has been really weird.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh um
I feel like if TikTok were to make improvements to the following page where you can see posts in chronological order,
yes.
then maybe I would use it. Because
Yes.
then that way you would get a curated following page
Yes.
and you would actually get to see the videos of your favorite content creators. But I mean, TikTok is TikTok.
TikTok is TikTok and TikTok is look, I have problems on TikTok. I've been banned on the platform like 3 times. And for doing nothing. I didn't do anything all 3 times. I just get mass reported because that's also another
Oh, that's
problem.
another problem. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The other thing I think people don't talk about. I mean not that they don't talk about, but like the potential of like of hate comments or like people being just
Mhm.
rude for no reason, which I don't understand. I'm gonna be real. I don't understand because I've never come across a TikTok and I've like been like I want to be mean to this person. Like I'm like I want to be mean to this person, and like
Mhm.
literally open up the comments and type out something mean and then hit that enter button. Like I don't think I've ever done that. Like there's
No, me
no
neither.
no need to be mean. And because I'll see something, maybe I don't like it. Maybe I'm like, this is stupid. I don't like this. Right. Or like I'll have an opinion on it. But most of the time, I don't really share my opinion very much. I just kind of like, unless it's like we're talking about anime, manga, any of my
Mhm.
hobbies, like when I come across like a video. But like most of the time, I don't like comment on things a whole lot
Mhm.
because look, I don't like confrontation. But a lot of people don't deal well with hateful comments or
Mhm.
people just being rude to be rude, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
whole group of people on TikTok who just hate VTubers. Like, they just really do not like VTubers. I mean, we literally watched it with the DakaPo
Mhm.
situation, with the the VTuber who was doing the concert, and
Yes.
people were not nice, and they were harassing and doxing and all that stuff. And I don't think a lot of people, when they get into it, realize like how bad it can be, because people just
Mhm.
say whatever they want with no repercussions constantly.
Yeah, and that's another thing, like, if we were talking specifically, like, TikTok luck, it's a double-edged sword.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, you'll get people that are genuinely interested in, that video that you posted and might follow back, but then you might end up on the wrong side of TikTok and, ugh, that is a nightmare. I mean, sure, you get the views,
Yep.
but then comes a whole slew of hateful comments and just harassment and
What do you
all these
think?
things. Mm.
What video got you the most amount of hate? I feel like I know the answer
Oh,
to this, but
yeah, it's a Project Sakai video.
oh, a Project Sakai video?
Yeah, yeah, it was, uh, this was almost at the beginning when I started barely posting content about it. I had just made a reaction to Toya's birthday card in the Japanese server
Mhm.
because I mean, over a year ago, it was basically just Japanese players playing the Japanese server, and now there's a lot of, there's people from all over the world playing the Japanese server. But I had just made a reaction video kind of going through some of the tweets and people speculating like the whole ships and stuff. And it got a lot of hate. People mentioning my age, which is usually
Ugh,
uh it happens all the time, specifically for like female content creators. They will always point out your age and call you like, you know, aren't you too old
at
for
your
this?
grown
Or
age.
at your grown age, yes.
Oh my god.
So it was a lot of that stuff, people calling me cringe.
Of
And
course.
it was just, I think the video was like less than 15 seconds. Like, honestly, like no harm at all. I was just excited because the artwork was beautiful. And it was that one, definitely.
This is what I'm gonna
But
say. If you are underage right now and you said any of that stuff, I will literally come to you on your 18th birthday and I will steal all of your stuff. All of you, no more. You're not allowed to like this anymore. You're an adult now. You need to go get a job, pay your taxes. All
yes,
right?
no more cartoons.
No more
No
Project
more
Sakai for
cartoons.
you. I'm still all your plushies. No more Vocaloid. You're not allowed. No more.
No more Miku, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing
You
fun.
have to be boring as an adult. That's oh my god. I oh, as someone
Well,
who's been on
that video and then the Sora one, that one too.
the Sora.
Both of those. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm just gonna
I
makes me
I'm
mad.
sure you have a lot of examples as well.
Oh god. Okay, let me see. Let me try to okay. Let me try to think. I think okay. So I did a live one time
Mhm.
and this this is my very first cancellation amongst the children. I
Oh.
did a live and like it was popping off, and people wanted
Mhm.
me to do a lolly voice really bad in the chat,
Oh, okay.
and so
Mhm.
I, as a fucking oops, my bad. But as a joke, I'm a voice actress, right? So
Mhm.
I go into like, I go into a voice and I
Mhm.
basically like go like, "Is this what you want? Is this what you want? You fucking degenerate." Right? Like something like that, right? Like just something like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a joke, right? Well, they
Mhm.
just cut it off and I'm just doing like the voice and then like I had videos just made about me and being like
Mm.
they're like, "Oh, that's so cringe, so cringe." And I'm like, "You literally cut it off." And so people were coming into my comments and just being rude and mean and I was like, I just I just didn't look at the app for like a week and then they all went away because I'm like,
Mhm.
a lot of TikTok is just performative activism, to be honest. And that's like,
Yeah.
how dare you? You're being problematic. And I was like, I'm making a joke. Oh my God. We can't joke anymore, I guess, about about because I was making fun of other people,
Mhm.
right? And it's like we cannot make a joke. And I'm like, damn, I just turned off the app and I just, I exit out of it and I was like, okay, I'll just let it pass for a week. Because the last thing
Mhm.
you want to do, and this is advice, if you were ever, if you, because like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to apologize for
Mhm.
something I didn't do. Like, I didn't do anything wrong, right? Is to just
Mhm.
let the storm pass. And especially when you really didn't do anything wrong, let it pass. Do not apologize for it because the moment you apologize for it, it gets worse. It gets
Oh, yeah.
worse. And do not turn off comments. Do
Yeah,
not turn
don't
off
turn off
comments.
comments.
Never turn off
They will
comments.
People will go to other videos and will be even harsher if you do that.
Well, that's what happened to Mr. Underhill, to Jojo.
Mhm.
He made a video about Dakapo and Dakapo, like the Dakapo situation, which is that VTuber who blew up, for that concert for being quote unquote $300. It wasn't $300. It was 300 baht, which is like
Mhm.
9 USD. And it wasn't even for a concert. It was for the convention they were at. And he wasn't even the only one singing. He was like, it was only his segment. Anyways, um, he made a video on it, just kind of doing that correction stuff. And then he was just kind of talking about it. And then that, like, at first, everything was fine. Like, it was fine everyone was nice. Everyone was like, oh my God, I didn't know he got doxxed. I didn't know he got harassed. Like, all this stuff. I thought it was just a haha game.
Mhm.
And then it got to the wrong side of TikTok. And
Yeah.
people were starting to be mean. They were starting to send death threats. They're starting to harass him and all this stuff. And then I wish he would have just came to me about it and just like asked for my advice because I would have told him to just leave the video. But then he decided
Mhm.
to turn off the comments. And then it got worse on his other videos. And I was like, no, don't turn off the comments because they're just going to go to other videos. Just leave it be. Leave it be. And you
Mhm.
can get harassed for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. If they find something that they think is a little bit cringy about you, they will harass you. And like the
Yeah.
amount of like ageism I've seen on TikTok about being in fandom spaces is incredibly gross.
It is, and I mean, I already mentioned this, I feel like female creators just get it so much worse. Because for some reason, I feel like a lot of, you know,
Mhm.
minors and children are cool with guys being, nerds. You
Yes.
have trash talk and, like, they're used to seeing a lot of males in these nerdy spaces. But then when they see a female content creator, it's almost like, "Oh, yeah, like, that's not their space." Like
Yeah. Well,
like, this is not for them.
see, it's funny because Trash Taste, I think the youngest on Trash Taste is Connor, and I think he's like 27 or 8 or something like that.
Mhm.
He's in his late 20s now. And like Garnt and Joey are in their 30s, right?
Yeah.
So it is weird cuz like I didn't even think about that because I've
Yeah,
never
they're
thought
our
about.
ages.
Yeah, it's always like if they want to insult us, it's always at our age, right? Because it's not even ageism. Now it's just
Mhm.
also we're also talking about like sexism, misogyny there because it's like, oh, you're an adult woman. It's like, what should you be doing? You should be popping out babies and taking care of them, right? Having a husband and cleaning
Yeah.
a house, right?
Mhm.
Never doing that in my entire life. I don't clean. What are you talking about? I'm stinky.
Uh, Same.
um, but it's crazy to me because it's why why do we not go after why don't they not go after male creators? Like that's so it's so because I've
Mhm.
never seen that happen. I think the most that I
Yeah.
ever see is when it comes to male creators is like if they say like at your grown age, it's like over their like underage waifu or something like that. I don't know. Like
Oh, yeah, but even then, like, I feel like they just don't get the same amount of
no.
criticism as female creators
Well, I've gotten
because
at your grown age a lot before. Like,
Mhm.
I don't get it as much now, probably because I'm just not ending up on their For You pages. But like,
Mhm.
for a while, I was getting people who were like, at your grown age, at your grown age. And I'm like, you do realize that like majority of the voice actors that you hear in anime are like 30 and 40 now, right?
Yep.
right?
The the same with mangakas, they're actually even older.
I was about to say they're even older. I mean, like look at what's his name? Is his name Tagashi? No, who writes Tagashi
Hunter
writes
x Hunter?
Hunter. Okay, yeah, that's right, that's right. Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Because like Tagashi, like oh he's old now,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, you also have, like, Rumiko Takahashi, Inuyasha creator. I
Oh
think
yeah,
she turned, like, 70, I think? Like,
yeah,
she is older than my mom,
yeah.
and she's still creating manga, which is amazing, with incredible artwork.
It's
But,
it's
yeah,
different.
all the media they consume is done by adults. Project Sekai, all the producers, the majority are in their 30s and 40s, at least the well-known ones.
I don't you see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they also come to my comments or even your comments or anyone's comments and go, and you're
Mhm.
current age, um, I want them to never want to attend conventions. You're not allowed. You're not allowed.
Oh.
Conventions are completely ran by adults. Who do you think's running conventions?
Mhm.
Who do you think started conventions? Right? Like,
Who do you think is paying for the conventions?
oh my god.
Adults.
Or like, okay, their parents' money, clearly. Their parents' money is
Mhm.
like what's funding all of these figures and plushies and nendoroids and conventions and who's buying the Blu-ray sales, right? Like I feel like who is that? Children? Yeah, your parents' money? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. But no, like I don't want to see them at conventions if they say stuff like that because I'm like those are all completely ran by adults and fans. On top of that,
Mhm.
I've seen people talk about fan fiction like that too, right? They sat there and they go, um, they they tell like adult women like that's weird that you write fan fiction, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, do you know
Mhm.
you know that like the founders of fan fiction are adult women.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Look, I don't want to be like
Even
respect your elders, but like respect your elders, man.
but yeah, like, respect your elders.
We paved
And
the
being
road for you.
oh, yeah, absolutely, we did. And just, like, be nicer to female creators, like, it's uh, I mean, the misogyny online for female creators, especially
Hmm.
in nerdy spaces, is just it's disgusting, to
No,
be
it
quite frank.
it is gross.
Mhm. And, I mean, we've mostly talked about TikTok, but you can see this everywhere. Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, excuse me. X.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The man having
Oh,
his midlife crisis.
rest in peace, Twitter. But, I mean, you can see it in every single social media platform where people create and post content. YouTube, Instagram. It's just it gets exhausting. I mean, I think by now I've been creating content and posting online since 2009. There comes a point that you're just like you stop caring
Yes.
about the negativity. Um
Hmm.
if it's negativity that's constructive criticism, that's a completely different thing.
Yep.
But most of the time just the cringe comments, the at your grown age comments, uh, they just they fly, they go one ear out the other. Like
Like, come on,
they
be a
serve
little
no
bit more
purpose.
creative. Like, tell me something I don't
Yes.
know.
Mhm. Exactly.
um, and
It's almost like for female content creators, like you at least the people that are openly misogynistic, they kind of just expect female creators to stick into like the I don't know, the beauty, fashion, lifestyle. Just they box them into this um just hyper feminine content creation world, and if
hmm
they step out of it, it's just like, "Oh my god." Like, "No, no, no, you're coming into our territory. You can't be into video games. You can't be into manga. Like, what animes do you like?" Like, you just get quizzed, like, about everything.
yeah, oh yeah,
It's ridiculous.
oh my god.
You have to, like, prove yourself that you're a real nerd for some reasons, like, do you want You want me to show you my bank account so you can see how much manga and, you know, all my subscriptions? Like,
Oh
I
my
don't have
god.
to prove myself to anyone.
So I think it was Asmongold who said this, and I
Mhm,
could be wrong. Asmongold has since changed his mind about VTubers since he said this, though. So thank God.
mhm,
Um, but and I think it was him. I think it was him. If
mhm,
it wasn't, I apologize. But he had said on stream one time about VTubers. He's like, VTubing is just easy mode for girls, right?
mm,
And
mhm,
and here's why. Because they don't have to get makeup on, they don't have to get ready, they just turn on the model, right? And I
uh-huh,
sat there and I'm like, what do you, what do you mean? Because like
mhm,
here's the thing, right? Because it's like it's easy mode if we wear makeup and get ready and look nice and presentable for stream. It's
mhm.
easy mode when we don't do that and we become a VTuber. I'm like, how about all the men who just roll out of bed with a rat's nest for hair and go stream live and still have viewers? Right? Is it not easy
Yeah.
mode for them because they don't have to get ready at all and they can show their face?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's always some type of excuse for female creators. It's like, okay, I'll say it. Like, if you have boobs, people will just say like, "Oh, yeah, you're getting easy subscribers because you're well endowed," and people like seeing that.
And you know what?
Um
You know what? There might be,
Mhm,
okay. And this is not really a hot take, but like
mhm.
okay, while yes, it can be easier to get subscribers, it's probably not the audience you want.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
and so like I don't
completely different.
like yeah, and it's not that like okay, this is kind of how I see it, right?
Mhm,
Is that it's an audience usually when it comes down to like someone following you for your looks, it's always because you're
mhm.
being objectified in that way,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm,
And like guys will sit there and go, "Oh, well, it's easy for women to get followers." And it's like, okay, like they're first of all, they're not taking any followers away from you. This is like the Amaranth thing, like the hot tub streamers.
mhm,
While I definitely have opinions on pools and hot tubs and stuff like that because like there's a lot of inconsistency there,
mhm,
I'm not blaming necessarily the people who are in those categories. So like Amaranth for a sec, like for example, right? She was, kind of like the Kickstarter for all the pools and hot tub stuff. And
mhm.
and like, there was a lot of people being like really mad, a lot of dudes being really mad that she was like, she had like a lot of followers and she had like a lot of viewers and all that stuff. And I'm like, newsflash for you, those people watching her are not your audience. They're just not.
Yeah.
They
Uh-huh.
are just not the same thing. It's like, first of all, it's stupid to compare yourself because, like, I don't do that kind of stuff either, right? And it's just like, it's stupid to compare yourself. Um,
Mhm,
a lot of times, like, yes, women can get followers easier because they are attractive. They are not the audience a lot of times they want.
mhm.
And so it's a double-edged sword essentially, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like guys can just kind of roll out of bed and they're like, "Hello, I'm here as long as I'm funny and relatable, I do well." You know?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Uh, there's just I mean, that comes with the misconceptions about social media and content creation.
Mhm.
Nothing's easy. I mean, there's no such thing as luck or like we mentioned, it plays a very minor role.
Mhm.
Being a female creator plays a minor role as well. Sure, it can get you some followers, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about your content. Like, will people actually
Mhm.
enjoy what you have to put out into, the online spaces that you want to publish your content?
Yes.
Um, will you be creating engaging content? Because there's one thing to just post, and there's other content that will actually be thought provoking. People can have discussions in the comments. If it's on TikTok, people can like duet and stitch your videos. Like, how
Mhm.
far will your content get
Yes.
before you start getting, more followers and different types of opportunities as well. Because, I mean, you can definitely, push yourself outside of your regular content. I
Yeah.
mean, we're kind of doing it right now with the podcasting thing. Last week, I got the opportunity to be in my third Comic Con panel. So that's completely outside of, my TikTok and YouTube activities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it takes a lot of work.
Well,
You're not just.
it's a lot of plan, not even just like planning, but it's also a lot of
Mhm.
like what's the word? Like you're playing a game of chess or something. It's a lot of like
It is. It is.
like example. So my most viewed TikTok has almost 10
Mhm.
million views on it. And that
Yes.
video I made and I put it out at like a time where it was not like a time I usually post. It was like, I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, right? Usually I like to
Mhm.
post around noon. But I made this video, I made this like stitch to a video, and I knew I had to do it right then, right now, right then, right?
Mhm.
And it was what's the word? Like I ah words. I don't know words. Uh preconceived? No,
Um,
that's not the right word. I knew that video was going to do well. Now, did
mhm.
I think it was going to do 10 million views well? No. But I knew this
Mhm.
video was going to do well. Or I expected it to do at least decently, right?
Yes. Mhm.
And basically the video is it's a like a girl, like a little girl and her dad, and they're playing like an anime music quiz game, right?
Yeah, I know
And
which one.
yep, and the song came on as openings, right? It's openings, and it was Yadichin Bitch Club, and
Mhm.
she guessed it, and she's like 5 years old. She's very young. She should not be watching that show, right? And now
Mhm.
I knew that more than likely either A, she's never seen that show, or and she just
Mhm.
knows the opening, or B, they just told her to say it before like they shot that part of it, right?
Yeah.
But I stitch it and I go, what the heck, right? Because it's still I still think it's weird because that's not child content.
Yeah.
It's not child friendly content, and I didn't expect that video to blow up the way it did. But
Mhm.
I did expect it to do really well, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes you make a video that you're like, this is gonna do well, and then it does do well, and then sometimes you make a video and it doesn't do well, and you're like, oh, okay, well, even though I thought it was gonna do well, it didn't do so well. But like I knew when I made that video that Yadichin Bitch Club is a well hated, well hated
Oh, yeah.
like series on TikTok. I don't really hate it. I don't have really any thoughts or opinions on it because I don't
Yeah.
really know much about it besides like it's supposed to be satire on BL, but everybody kind of takes it
That's
at
pretty much all I know as well.
yeah face
Mhm.
value. It's like it's basically like what to it sounds like the BL version of Oran High School Host Club. Uh,
Mhm.
so, which is also satire, but that'll be a whole nother episode because I got thoughts and feelings. Oh my god. Um,
Mhm.
but you know when you post, like once you do it enough, once you've been creating enough, you're like, this, this should do well, you know?
Yes. Mhm. Yeah, you start building up, like, your intuition
Yes.
when things will do well. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you make things you don't know if it's gonna do well, and you're like, I don't know if this is
Oh,
gonna
no,
do
yeah.
well.
Sometimes you just get surprised. I mean, that's TikTok and just the For You page algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
like, you can kind of, I guess, like, in the comments, yeah, you can kind of trust your gut, and sometimes your gut is right that your content will do well, and then sometimes it's just completely unexpected.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like you're like, "What? Why did this? Why did?" I think the very first time I had something that really blew up and it was completely unexpected, at least as a
Mhm.
VTuber, was so when I started TikTok and somebody told me to do a glizzy reveal and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do it." And I was like pretending to look for it and then I
Mhm.
pull out a gun. And I'm like, "Repent. Repent, motherfucker." Like the panty and stocking line and it's like and that video got, I think, like 700,000 views on it. And I
Oh,
remember
damn.
that was the very first video that blew up. And so like Glizzy
Mhm.
Gladiators is like where that came from, and like the whole Glizzy thing came from that specific video.
Ah, got it. Uh-huh.
And it's just so funny because like that video was one I was just responding to a comment. And I didn't even think it was funny. But everyone else thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even to this day, I'm like, I still don't find it I never found it funny. I don't,
Oh my god.
half the time I post things, I don't even find them really that funny. I'm like, this is a joke. I post it out and I'm
Mhm.
like, I think a lot of, that's why a lot of comedians, they're not, like, that's why they're so funny, is because half the time, most of the time, they do not find their own jokes funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's understandable.
I think that was the first time something unexpectedly blew up for me. What was yours?
Um, actually, I think it might have been the video where I responded to a comment that was left in one of my videos, about Wotakoi. It was just me explaining the covers of Wotakoi because for those of you who don't know, the covers actually do mean something. The
Yes.
characters are pointing to different words in Japanese, so you kind of are presented with what each character's desires are. So the words in the Wotakoi covers, you have love and you have otaku. So those characters that want love are pointing to the word love, and those who maybe are a little bit more aloof, Narumi, Momose, she's pointing at otaku because she just wants to be a nerd, and it took her 11 volumes to realize that Hirotaka was attractive. So it was just like, just me explaining the covers. It's literally explained in the manga in the first volume that you buy from Kodansha. It's in English. Like it's right there,
Yep.
explained to you by the author. So I'm just, recapping what the author is saying, and that video blew up. People were shocked.
You tell them
That was like,
information that they just don't realize, and they're like, "Oh my god."
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were just like, oh my God, no way. Like, it was just, they were blown away. So then I did a follow-up video of me
Mhm.
showing the rest of the covers, which, I mean, they were all online. They're all on they're in Barnes& and Noble, and that blew up too.
That's
And then yeah, and then from there, it was just like, "Can you recommend more romance featuring adult characters and, more stories featuring adult friendships?" And that's just how you have to, you know, not only cater to your following, but,
mhm.
um that's just how you do it, you gotta take that opportunity and run for it.
Yep. Mhm.
Make the most that you can out of it. Turn those lemons into lemonade. If you make
Honestly.
Yeah, if you like, I've made, I think, over, like, 60 videos about Watakoi.
I
Like, for a moment of time in TikTok, I was known as Watakoi Laura. The same with Sweat and Soap. I
Yep.
was also
I
known as
remember
Sweat
that.
and Soap Laura.
I remember both those times.
So, like, y if people gravitate towards you because of those series, make that your brand.
Yes. Yeah. Well, for a long time, actually,
Mhm,
before I was a VTuber, when I did a lot of cosplay,
mhm,
I don't want to say like what series I was known for, but there is a specific series I was known for, and I cosplayed several characters from that one specific series.
mhm,
And I was really well known for those characters, and like the stuff that it, because like, kept updating the cosplays. I kept doing like videos for the like characters. I kept doing photos and like really funny little
mhm.
things like in character. People love that. People loved it, and
Yes.
I kept milking that. I kept milking it, and I was like,
Mhm.
this is my bread. We call this bread and butter, right? Is finding
Yes.
your bread and butter in content
Mhm.
creation, right? Right now I feel like I'm a little bit of a loss. I think I just kind of stream and I do funny content. Like I like playing weird games and talking about stuff. But
Mhm.
like as a VTuber, but like honestly, like content creation, once you understand it, like cuz a lot of people go just create content, right? And I see a lot of
Yeah.
creators being like, what does that mean? They're like, they never tell us. Why are they gatekeeping all of their secrets? And I'm like, they're not gatekeeping their secrets. Literally, it
Mm-mm.
is just make content. Understand
Yes.
yourself, understand the kind of audience you want. Like there's so many things, and like you could tell somebody all day for years
Mhm.
how to do it, but that doesn't always mean that they're going to be able to do it and
Yes.
or understand it, right? And you just eventually
Mhm.
understand it. I know like I've been growing very rapidly on Twitter.
Mhm.
At the beginning of this year, I had 10K followers. Now I'm sitting at 22K and in counting, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I found a post from it was the beginning of last year. Beginning of last year,
Mhm.
at the right at the beginning of the new year, I had hit 1,000 followers a year and a half ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah. and it's been a lot of work on, like
Mhm.
networking on Twitter, and I mean, like Twitter isn't always the best to pull an audience from, but it does help a little bit. Twitter
Mhm.
is mostly, I feel like, mostly for networking, but you can also still make an audience on Twitter.
Mhm.
And I have gained a ton in a year and a half. Like the speed has been rapid. And it's not because of luck. It's not because of the algorithm. It's because I sat there posting content, posting pictures, and doing different things. And I learned how to make a successful tweet.
Mhm.
I learned the steps. And not
Yes.
it's not really luck. It is just me understanding how Twitter works. And it's funny because the
Mhm.
more followers you get on Twitter, the now because they have a For You page, the easier it is for you to get into the algorithm. Because if a lot of people are interacting with you, then the people who are following them or mutuals with them will get that stuff on their own
Mhm.
For You page, right? And it becomes a
Yes.
snowball. A lot of times content creation can be a snowball. Sometimes you'll be stagnant. You're going to hit plateaus and
Oh,
you're gonna
yeah,
have to
all the time.
climb
Mhm.
yourself out of that. You're gonna have to climb, and sometimes it's really hard.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but like, and that's the other thing is that a lot of times, content creation is you're plateauing, plateauing, plateauing. Something hits, you gain a ton of
Mhm.
followers, and then you plateau again. Right? Like
Yes, yes, yes.
it's a very like the graph is like very like plateau, plateau, up, up, plateau, plateau, up, plateau, plateau. And it's
Mhm.
just you gotta keep chugging through it, You gotta keep chugging through it. And you cannot rely on luck. You
Yeah, yeah,
cannot
yeah.
rely on it. Cause I feel like a lot of people
Mm-mm.
try to rely on luck and that's not good. Like it's not a good way to think. Um
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people just get very demotivated by the
mhm.
plateau, especially, I mean, newer content creators, especially.
Yes.
Like to the point that some of them just stop posting. Like I remember when I started posting on my blog spot, I mean, this was like 2013. It
Yep.
was mostly just like outfit of the days and makeup of the days, makeup reviews, all that stuff. There used to be a thing called, I think it was a 3-month period that people getting into blogging and content creation would try it out for 3 months. They would see that maybe they got a few views here and there,
Mhm.
but maybe the second month, they're still getting the same views or maybe a little less. And then by the 3rd month, they're just like, "Screw it, I'm out."
Yep.
So, I mean, it happens a lot. It's just you can't rely on being discovered all of a sudden. You can't rely on becoming viral. It's a lot of hard work and understanding that it's gonna take time.
You also need catalog. You also need a catalog of
Mhm.
content.
Yes,
Because if you
that
post
too.
on YouTube and you have a video that goes viral, you are
Mhm.
not getting subscribers.
Oh, no, no, no. If there's nothing else for them to, like, watch, like,
Yeah,
good
it's
luck
pointless.
retaining them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and that's the thing is like, so I have a friend,
Mhm.
and her name is Lopi. And so Lopi's story does have some luck in it.
Mhm.
Because like, so Lopi for a while was posting consistently. And then essentially she kind of essentially went she didn't do a lot of stuff for months. She'd post on her YouTube every so often or short stuff, whatever. And then
Mhm.
one short blew up. And then the rest of her content blew up. And, like
Mhm.
that was just that's just the algorithm blessing her in that moment because she wasn't posting
Mhm.
because it's kind of unheard of for something to blow up when you have not been posting for a long time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But what's not luck is the fact that she got a ton of subscribers because of the fact she had a catalog for people to look at and to watch,
Mhm.
right? And so essentially, like what you usually look for or you hope is that when one video does really well, especially on YouTube, eventually like that will blow up and then it's just a bunch of landmines just going off, right? It's like here's this one.
Yeah, yes.
Like it's like
Mhm.
it's like you're playing Minecraft and you set up a bunch of TNT in like the same area and then when one lights, they all explode. Right? And that's like
Yeah.
that's what you need to like get that kind of what seems to be instant success if
Mhm.
you do. But again, that is years and months and of just making content and not
Mhm.
just randomly blowing up one day.
Oh, we got a question in the
Yeah.
chat. How do you guys feel about industry plans? You know
Um,
what?
go ahead.
I actually got called an industry plant in 2020 during lockdown. So here's the story. I mean, we all know what happened. COVID, lockdown,
Yes.
everyone stuck in their homes. And I had just started playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. I got inspired by that and decided to do makeup on my face.
Mhm.
I had at the time I was taking a break from YouTube, but I decided to post a picture of the makeup with the Animal Crossing like symbols on my face. And then next thing I know, YouTube, like the official YouTube Twitter account, the official YouTube Instagram account, Facebook account, they all shared my picture and
Uh-huh.
linked to my channel. So people were like, "Who the hell is this? Like, is this an industry plant?" Because
Oh my god.
nobody knew me. I mean, I was I'm still such a small creator in the
Yes.
grand scope of things. So people just assumed that either I pay for it or was one of those YouTube industry plans.
Oh my god. Like it's like polar. Like, y-
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I had been creating since 2009. Like, I never expected to get reposted by Twitter, especially, I mean, by YouTube, especially when I was taking a content creation break.
Yep. Well, you remember Polar, right? Do you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That everyone was like talking about like this the first virtual pop star and I was like
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, you need to pay your respects to Hatsune Miku, thank you, and also
Yes, yes.
VTubers have been doing it for a long time, for a
Mhm,
lot longer, but that was such the metaverse the metaverse
mhm,
the metaverse's first pop star. I cringe. Anyways, um I personally, so I don't want to say not industry plants, but like I do
mhm,
know one VTuber who is backed by a much larger creator,
mhm,
like a very like someone who has like over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And then they were definitely promoted by someone who has like I think like 2 million subscribers on YouTube, 3 million, right?
mhm,
And has a very dedicated fan base. And so I guess technically they're an industry plant if you really think about
mhm.
it. But like honestly, I don't I don't really care too much about industry plants. I mean like
No.
they don't really affect
I mean,
me.
yeah, I feel like their audience was not meant to be my audience most of the time. And a lot of time I think there's a lot of people that confuse becoming viral
Mhm.
with industry plans. Because I remember, I don't
Yes.
know if you ever got into the tiny home and and RV side of like YouTube. There was I forget her name. I think it was Janelle something.
Mhm.
She was a van life YouTuber, African American van life YouTuber, so very niche
Yes.
content right there. Um, and she blew up because she showed her RV that was, decked out because she was living in it.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean, that video got like millions of views very quickly, and people started calling her an industry plant
Oh
when
my
she
god.
wasn't. Like, she was just a teenage girl that was sharing how she lived, and people just, responded well to that. People liked
Mhm.
seeing, a normal girl that they could relate to, just trying to make the best out of what she had at that time.
Uh-huh.
And she had to like go on like different YouTube like news outlets just to be like, hey, not an industry plant. Like, this was just unexpected luck, and she
Mhm.
made a career out of it. Like,
Mhm.
she's still posting all these years later. I think it's been like almost like 7 or 8 years since that viral video, and she's still posting content, not RV content. Now she has a home. But yeah, it's just like we've been talking about it from the beginning of this episode. Like, no, sometimes you can expect a video to do well.
Yes.
Other times, just it's pure luck that your video becomes viral. But what will you do with that luck or in that viral video?
Yeah.
Like, will you just become, another has been on social media, which can happen very quickly? I mean, there's
Yep.
a lot of people that just become memes and then you don't know their names.
I mean, I've seen like,
Mhm.
I've had, I think, once or twice Rebecca Black end up on my For You page on TikTok.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But like I feel like a lot of people don't really pay attention to Rebecca Black. Yeah, right? She got mass
Mhm.
amounts of hate, which I do feel bad about because she was like 13 at the time. She was a
Yeah, yeah, she was super
teenager.
young.
She was so
Mhm.
she was so young. I mean, I was a teenager at that time too. But,
Mhm.
like I just remember seeing that and like, that she was a meme. And,
Mhm.
now it's like you go, "Hey, you remember Rebecca Black?" Yeah. Yeah. Or like, "Hey, you remember crazy girlfriend girl?"
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Her?
Yeah,
Mhm.
her, like that or I think of other memes or like there's just so many like things that like memes that I just like I don't think about I don't think about like what their names are, what their social media is
Mhm.
or whatever. Like Hurricane Katrina, more like Hurricane
Beef
Tortilla.
tortilla. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Um like stuff like that. Like I just don't like I
Mhm.
remember those memes, but I don't really know the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if you follow her, but I mean, everybody knows Kombucha Girl,
Oh my
Brittany.
god, I
Yeah, yeah.
love Brittany
I
Broski.
l I love her. I feel like she's a really good example of turning something that went viral into, I mean,
Yes,
she has such a good career.
she
Like,
does. Oh my god, I
she's still
love her.
doing her own thing, like posting on TikToks, just, being her typical funny self, but she's gotten so many incredible opportunities because she puts the work too.
Well,
Like,
another example I would
mhm,
say would be someone who is incredibly lucky, but then turned something that was nothing into something. Bella
mhm,
Porch.
yeah,
Bella
mhm,
Porch. Because like, while yes, her just bobbing her head up and down and making faces to the M to the B, M to the B, M to the B, like that.
yep,
Yeah, like that was a dumb video, and I don't know why
mhm,
it's the most viewed TikTok of all time. I don't understand, but
mhm,
I can give respect to her, and give credit where credit is due because she took that and she milked it, and
oh
then
yeah,
she made her own music,
mhm,
and I was like, damn girl, get it, like because a lot of people were like dissing on her and they're like all she did was bob her head up and down. I'm like, yes, she got incredibly lucky with the
mhm,
video, right? But then she took nothing and she made it into something. And then also like hearing about her story about like her like as a kid is like really sad, right? And
Yeah,
like
her
she's
backstory is really sad.
yeah, it's really sad. And I'm like, I'm glad she has a house now. I'm glad she's like living her life and she's doing great, you know? But again, like people who again back to the at your grown age, you know, she had that alpaca and she like
Mhm.
stuffed animals and people were like, at your grown age, like trying to insinuate she's trying to be a child. And I was like, can adults just not like stuffed animals? I mean, I have stuffed
Mhm.
animals. I have a little like above my computer here. I have like a little like hammock that has all of
Mhm.
my plushies that just sit in it. And you know, like from like Hatsune Miku to like there's Luca, there's like a little like Shiba Inu. There's like a lot of different little
Mhm.
plushies that sit there. And I'm like, why are we going after her? It's because she's successful and people are actually jealous. I know a lot of
Mhm.
people say
Yeah.
like oh they're just jealous of you. I feel like most of the time they're not really jealous. They're just really sad and just want to make every misery loves company, right? But I
Oh,
in
yeah. Yeah,
in
yeah.
that instance, I
Absolutely.
feel like a lot of people were really jealous of her because she did something so
Mhm.
simple, so like just dumb and like low effort and she blew up from that. And sometimes
Mhm.
that's what luck is. Like when we talk about
Mhm.
like luck, Bella Porch, you know, Dakota Broski, like the Dakota Broski. That is Brittany Broski. Dakota
Brittany,
Broski.
yes.
I love my man Dakota Broski, but he is no longer a content creator anymore. He's that's a friend of mine. I was
Oh.
like, that doesn't sound right. Brittany Broski. You know, all of these people, like, they took something that they got really lucky on that just blew up for because whatever. I mean, let's be real.
Mhm.
I feel like Brittany Broski would have blown up eventually anyway. She's hilarious.
Oh,
So like,
yeah.
you
She's
know,
so
like
funny. I love
that
her.
was inevitable. But like Bella
Mhm.
Porch, that whole thing with her, that's luck. Like when we talk about like some people just get really lucky,
Mhm.
she is an example of that because
Mhm.
it was something that she's not a content creator. She's just making silly little TikToks, and
Mhm.
then she posted that and it blew up. Um, and then she took that and she ran with it. You know?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, it's just I mean, the world of content creation and people's journeys, they're all different. Like, you can't really compare. Like, I can't compare my journey with your journey. Like, they're all
No.
different. You can't just like, this is for new content creators, just word of advice. You cannot expect to become like your favorite content creators. Don't try to imitate what they do
Mm-hmm.
because everyone has their own journey. You will find your audience. Sometimes you find it much quicker.
Yes.
And other times it just takes a while. Like, uh, I mean, I've been a content creator, like an active content creator since 2013. So it's taken a very long time. Like me getting into San Diego Comic Con panels, me, you know, getting thousands of views, it did not happen overnight.
No.
It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and like myself, I have a full-time job. Content creation is not my full-time job. So I clock out of my regular job and then I turn in I almost turn like a baseball cap backwards. Then I become like content creation Laura after work.
You're
So
like Superman.
it's a lot. Yeah. Like I turn into Clark Kent. Clock out of work and then I'm just like, okay, no more office Laura. Now I'm I don't know, YouTube Laura or TikTok Laura. And people just don't realize all the work and all the effort that goes into the content that you consume,
Yes.
especially on TikTok. Like
Yes.
you just a lot of people just take it for granted.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then the other thing, don't become a content creator just because you want to be famous.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be
Mhm.
disappointed so fast. So fast.
Yeah. Don't become a content creator because you think it's easy fame or easy money because oh my god, the money thing.
N-
Don't expect to gain any money for a while.
Oh my god, I'm still not monetized on YouTube yet. You know,
Mm,
like I don't even think, you know, like even with this channel, right? Like if this
mhm,
channel becomes monetized, it's not going to be probably for a while unless for whatever reason
mhm.
we get like a slew of like new listeners. We probably won't be monetized on this channel for a long time, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
Because like the bar that YouTube sets is really high. Like
Mm.
it's you gotta have like I think 4,000 watch hours, which is a lot of watch hours. And
Mhm.
I think on average for my streams, at least on my own YouTube channel, I get about anywhere from like 60 to maybe 100
Mhm.
on good days. So that's like, think about that. Like I'm chipping away at that 4,000. Well, I guess it's 3,000 now for streaming, but you're chipping
Mhm.
away at it. And it's hard. It's so
It is
hard.
hard. Mhm.
It's like the hardest thing to do is like to get monetized, right? Things like Twitch are a
Mhm.
lot easier because you only need you need to stream 8 days for no, 7 no, yeah. I think it's 8 hours
Okay.
in a month for 7 days and have an average of 3 viewers.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's very different.
it's very easy. I was about to say it's
Mhm.
pretty easy. I mean, like I know there are people. I don't want to be like I know there are people who take like months, but like
Mhm.
really just get your friends together and be like, hey, can you just throw on my stream for like like just throw
Yeah.
it on in the background and like you could even mute me, right?
Mhm.
And then I just get that view count.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like it's you're gonna be disappointed if you get into it trying to be famous. If you have to really like doing content. Like, do you like
Yes.
it? Do you
Mhm.
enjoy doing it? Right?
Mhm.
And make sure you don't you don't get into it just for the fame because again, you will be disappointed. You will be very
Mhm.
disappointed because it's not easy. And most people who are really big, it's because they found their bread and butter at some point and like eventually they blew up from that. And I've seen it happen. I've had lots of friends who've like grown very big and know people who have grown very big.
Mhm.
And all of them have their bread and butter. So,
Yep, yep, yep.
yep.
Yeah, you gotta do it for fun because you
Mhm,
enjoy it and because you wanna cultivate a community that you can be proud of. If you're just getting into content creation because you want the fame, the money,
mhm.
you're gonna be disappointed. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, I think for the most part, you will find this very rewarding.
Yes.
And I mean, this can mean different things to a lot of people. Some people find the monetary aspect to be rewarding. I just find the community to be rewarding, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to see familiar faces in the comments of my videos, getting to
Mhm.
interact with them,
Mhm.
and just finding a community of people that like the same things that you do, that you can just vibe with. And it's, you know, as much as I enjoy creating and being able to have this outlet, um I am very introverted.
Yep.
So a lot of my social interactions do come from the content that I create, whether I stream or just post it and then hours later I see comments. This is just very fulfilling for me. So
Yeah.
it can mean different things to everyone.
Well,
Mhm.
before we wrap up, it's gonna be probably a little bit of a longer episode. We have Laura went to San Diego Comic Con, and
Mhm.
I know you've been wanting to talk about it. So before we wrap up, you got any thoughts of?
Dude, anime is taking over San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, that does not surprise me.
So, I mean, obviously, we all know of the writer's strike and the Actors Guild strike, so
Mm-hmm.
that really affected, San Diego Comic-Con, so the big studios were not present this
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have your Marvel or your Disney, but wow, each year, anime and manga just keep taking over and just claiming their space as something that is not niche anymore
Yep.
because it used to be considered niche before. I mean, one of the biggest booths this year belonged to Dark Horse Comics,
Oh,
and they had it.
really?
Yeah, they took a lot of space, and they had Makoto Yukimura, the author of Vinland Saga. He was one of the bigger guests this year at San Diego Comic Con. Viz Media flew Junji Ito to San Diego Comic Con, so he was there
Oh,
too. Um, So yeah, like it's getting a lot more recognized by Japanese creators, Japanese media as well. The publishers are getting a lot more attention as well because I mean, people just know San Diego Comic Con for being comics, like
Mhm.
American comics,
Mhm.
but just seeing the presence of not only Japanese media but also manhwa was having its moment as well at San Diego Comic Con. It's very interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how much it grows for next year as well.
Mhm.
Um, I know for like Junji Ito and Makoto Yukimura's, they both hosted their own panels. They were kind of given like a smaller room, so there was
Really?
yeah, they were given a smaller room for those panels. So they had a line of people like not everyone could make it inside the panel room. So I think this
Aw.
is a good sign for like San Diego Comic Con to be like, no, like we need to give them the big room. Like if there's a line wrapped around like the convention hall for authors like this, like
Mhm.
yeah,
Well,
like
they
this is something to take seriously.
yeah, I know Comic-Con has been very much like Comic Con, right? And,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
there's been
yeah.
anime sprinkled throughout it, my very first con I ever went to was a Comic Con specifically.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't an anime convention, it was just, like, a little tiny, like, less than 1,000 people Comic Con, and they
Yeah, yeah.
had some anime, but not really a
Mhm.
whole lot. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I feel like for the most part, like a lot of the comic cons, like yeah, you would have it sprinkled here and there. But if you were to go to like a comic con dressed as like an anime character, like back in the day, they would
they look weird at you, they'd be like,
yeah,
excuse me?"
yeah. It's like you're Sailor Moon in a sea full of like Marvel superheroes.
Okay, one time I dressed up as Sailor Moon for Halloween, and I had a little
Uh,
girl come up to me and be like, "Wonder Woman!"
oh.
I was like, she is the Wonder Woman, I guess."
Yeah, I guess so. Japanese Wonder Woman.
It's okay. Just like Hatsune Miku is Japanese Barbie.
Yeah. But San Diego Comic Con was fun. Very hot. I mean, just because of the damn heat. My panel went well,
Oh,
although it
good.
did get interrupted by a fire a fire alarm.
No, that's so sad.
The last 20 minutes we had to evacuate the room because there was a fire. We got told that it was a false fire alarm, but it actually turns out there was a fire in one of the kitchens. It got
Oh.
it got put out pretty quickly, but yeah, it was fun. I hopefully I get the opportunity to go back again next year. Fingers crossed. I mean, thankfully with all this content creation, I've networked enough that I could get potentially invited for next year's Comic Con. But yeah, it was fun.
Oh my gosh,
I
Shojo
vlogged a
podcast
lot.
panel?
Oh my god. I maybe one day that would be super cool.
Oh, that's the dream. That's the dream.
Mhm. Yep, yep, yep.
Auto would be there in
Yeah.
person, and I'd be in a different room just, like, at my microphone and being like, "Yes, I'm here." But and that's how they do it at, Offkai is that the VTuber convention,
Mhm.
they have what is called the streaming room, and essentially that's the room that all the VTubers who have panels, they'll go to that
Mm.
room, and then it's connected to the other room, so that way
Ah.
you don't have to show your face, but you're still at the con, though.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if the opportunity ever presents itself, like, I would love to have, like, record an episode at Comic-Con or another
That would be
convention. I think that would be
so
s
cool.
yeah, that would be super cool.
Yeah, you guys
Um
want us at conventions? Request us. I think a lot of people don't even know
Mhm.
that they can request guests.
Oh, yeah, and you can apply too to host a panel. I'm gonna try my best to apply for San Diego Comic Con next year and maybe bring like a shoujo related panel
Oh, that'd be
to San
cool.
Diego Comic Con. Yeah. Last year I got to be a panelist at a josei manga panel. That was really, really cool. Just talking about
Josei.
like our
The
recommendations and what manga for like older women looks like,
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
That's really cool though. And That's awesome. You get to go have all these panels at like the San Diego Comic Con because I'm like, damn, that's crazy because that's like the big con, like that's the big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the and I mean, we alluded to this earlier in the episode, but like I've the times that I do get negativity about the panels, it's always from uh males
Oh, of
just
course it
asking
is.
like, yeah, just assuming that I got into the panel because I'm a female creator or, just trying to be dismissive. Um, it's all networking, just posting content, creating your own community, and it's not just because I'm a female content creator.
They
It's definitely not that.
they go, I'm jealous of this thing. I want to be a part of this
Mhm.
thing. Clearly, it's because they're a woman.
Mhm. Yeah.
Imagine being a woman.
Honestly, I feel like they wouldn't last a day in our shoes.
Oh, absolutely not. They would be having hissy fits and tantrums left and right.
Mhm.
It'd be so mad, and we
It
just kind of go,
definitely.
yeah, yeah, this is normal. This is normal. But
Mhm.
you have anything else to say?
Um, um, I don't think so. I think I covered everything from San Diego Comic Con. It was fun. It was exhausting. Lots of walking.
Oh God, I bet, I bet.
But yeah, I ended up with very bad muscle cramps.
Yeah, you had to call into work the next day.
Yes, I called off of work. I had to go on medication to just loosen up the muscles. It was a pain in the ass, but I still enjoyed my experience a lot and just getting to network and, talk with the different publishers and
Hmm,
different
hmm.
creators. Um, yeah, it's a really cool experience and something that I'm very grateful to have. I know that I got these opportunities because I worked hard, but I never take them for granted. It's always a very big honor to be part and just being asked to be part of the panel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's really cool. Well, I
Mhm.
think that concludes this week's episode of Shojo's Bizarre Adventure. Da-da-da!
Mhm. Da, da,
Um,
da.
yeah, I think next week, you're gone, right? You're gonna be gone.
Mhm.
So we're
Yep.
gonna have a pre-recorded episode for you YouTube watchers. We'll have that uploaded sometime. Well, I'll have it published next Sunday. So it
Mhm.
will be
It just won't be a
pre-recorded.
live recording. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be
It won't be
pre-recorded.
live. Everyone else,
Mhm.
all you Apple and Spotify listeners, it will be the exact same for you. There'll be no
Mhm.
difference. It will just be for YouTube listeners that we have it pre-recorded, and it will be in the podcast playlist. So, mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we will see you guys next week.
Yeah, see you next week for another episode.
All right.
Bye,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.